Check. Alright, I'm gonna lower the volume right here.
Once it's live, I'll probably try to join on my phone just to see the chat.
Alright.
I don't want to join on my computer and fuck up the audio.
Nah, you're good. Yeah, we're live right now, so you can join in, see the chat. If there is anybody watching, I know it's late and we didn't like plan this or anything.
Oh yeah, we're the only ones with nothing to do, man.
A lot of people
On a Friday night.
a lot of people got nothing to do. Let me check the audio, make sure both of us are good here. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Yeah, our audio's good. So we're ready to go. I'm with my guy Tony Ortiz, and this is the new It's Just a Phase podcast. Not with my cohorts anymore. Not that we had a breaking up or anything, but Aaron is, he's just living life. And whenever we could do What the Fuck Are We Talking About podcast, we will do them. And until then, I'm going to be doing this whenever I can and have the inspiration and energy to. And I'm going to be interviewing other guests from the local community, artists, entrepreneurs, creatives in general. And I was just on this man's podcast a couple days ago, and we talked for like 2.5 hours. So that'll be coming out shortly. And yeah, I'll be talking with all types of people. Whoever wants to talk, pretty much, I'll be talking with, and we could talk some shit. And that's about it. So yeah, if you want to introduce yourself, Tony, and we could just chop it up. We'll our continuation of our last podcast.
Yeah, for real. I like what you got going on with the live, man. It's nice and clean. But I'm Tony Ortiz, host of I Will Not Lose podcast. We just had Phaze on last week. I don't do the live, so I'm going to be cutting that up this weekend. That should drop probably early May. So I'm excited for that. But I don't know about you, but this got me all revitalized. I love what you're doing, interviewing creatives, bringing them on, uh, interviewing people that have something to promote, music, podcasts, man. It's just great to see the community doing things.
Absolutely, and I was just telling you right before. I was chopping it up with Jack Nine, Josh Ramirez, right before this, and we were gonna go live, and they keep messing up technology so bad, and I haven't done a Skype interview with anybody in probably at least a year. So every time you do your updates, everything gets worse and it changes everything. So I had to download a whole bunch of stuff, and then when I go to bring up the guest, there's no option to do it anymore. So I'm looking for other options, and those all suck, and it's just all bad all the way around. So I had him waiting on the phone for like 15, 20 minutes, and he was like, and I finally got it going, and I was like, let me call you back in 5 minutes, and let me like take a pee, put myself together right quick, because I was looking crazy. So, and then by the time I got back, he was like, I just got a shit ton of calls, so let's do this another time. And I was like, fuck.
Well, he'll probably hop on. He'll take care of that. But shout out to Nine. That's what's up. That he was able to get you started with it. I know. I hit you up. I was like, yep, I'll be there 30 to 60 minutes. I ended up with a flat tire. We got that handled. I took a look down at my phone. I was like, man, it's 2 hours. This guy's gonna think I'm completely bullshitting. But we made it happen. We're live on air now.
Yeah, man. I was just trying to figure all this shit out, and there's like almost no information how to get it working again, because everybody was so used to the previous iteration of this OBS, and nobody's interested in this. But yeah, my man Jack, we started podcasting and doing live radio back in the day in the rapforever.com era, back when Dat Piff was going on, and nobody was Facebook going on. Facebook was probably barely a thing at the time, and Josh had the platform of rapforever.com, and he was probably one of the first people to do like live stream on the internet, really.
Yeah, it was huge. It was huge. It was running like 24/7. You guys had it going on,
Yeah,
but
I don't.
different shows weekly.
Yeah,
I can't remember whose show I was on exactly.
there was the Stash Box um,
With Jake Hayes,
with Jake
right?
Hayes, and
Yeah, shout out to Jake
Jake
Hayes.
Hayes and Philip Banks, and then we had our John L Chain Radio, and there was Tribeland, Hitman, and Murdoch and them, and then I know Big E had what the hell is their thing called? Street official street music radio on there. Those are the four that I can remember off top.
That was
You weren't on any of them?
it might have been the Stash Box. I think so. I feel like I remember a green logo with the circle
Yeah,
with
yeah,
Stash
yeah. They had
Box.
the box. Yeah, that was probably them because they had more so a bunch like they would just bring random people on and talk crazy.
But I'm trying to see. Can you see who you got in the live? Can you see who's watching this?
I used to be able to see who's watching it, but Facebook sucks, so I don't know. It says there's three now, so I have no.
Yeah, that's probably you, me, and my phone. But shout out to anyone tuning in. Um, I'm kind of chopping up. Is that what you see? Oh no, I see. There's a delay on it. That's my hair.
Yeah, yeah, little delays, but yeah,
But I love the set, man. You got the little monkey with the light bulb in the back.
yeah. I got my
The
little monkey back there.
For those of you just listening in, he's got the what is that? DJ? Is that turntables on the pillow?
Yep, yep. Got turntables on the pillow. I got my record, a small portion of my record collection over here. Uh,
My dark twisted fantasy. I see you.
yeah, I got the Astro World, FKA Twigs, a Stranger Things record, whole bunch of wild shit, and yeah, I'm in my little setup up here. Got my studio over there until I get my basement finished, which is gonna cost me arm and a leg and the rest of my soul, whatever's left. And
We need one hand to produce. You good?
yeah, yeah, man.
What
So tell people about your podcast and everything that you're doing and trying to do.
everything that I'm doing and trying to do. How much time you got? Nah, I'm a serial entrepreneur myself. My latest endeavor has been the I Will Not Lose podcast. We drop Monday nights. It's a weekly podcast. Stories of success learned from failure. Put people on local community. We've had Gil Thompson on there. Shout out to Gil Thompson and his brother Nigel, Naughty Nuisance, producer out here. So I did it really to support the community and have a platform for people. So Gil's album was dropping, and instead of one episode, we said, "Fuck it, we'll just drop weekly." So it's been a lot of fun. It's been a great creative outlet. Uh, Other than that, I'm a creative entrepreneur. I do graphic design, video. I was just earlier today shooting a hotel room. So I was doing a photo shoot, and I was in another podcast studio. Fuck it, let's hop on a podcast tonight too.
Yeah, you got to
So
keep it going. And I
yeah,
like what you're doing too, because people just got to you just got to jump in head first and do things, and you improve over time, and you start from the bottom and keep it going. And especially now, ever since I think like ever since Josh left the valley, there's been like a void in community because there's really no platforms for everybody to congregate around, like he had with Rap Forever, and even just him doing everybody's videos around here was like
yeah,
that was like the hub for the community.
it was a whole brand. Rap Forever, Jack Nine, and I can't remember the other business name he had before Jack Nine. He's doing something else with the films, but yeah, he's been doing it for a long time. Definitely OG in the game. That's gonna be you then. You gotta create a platform. it's a lot easier for you. You're much more accessible through the live. You've got all that figured out.
Right. I think people will like jumping on live, different artists and producers, engineers, and I interact with a lot of creative types of people, and I don't necessarily want everybody in my home, so so we could just
Yeah,
jump
yeah.
on Skype and talk, and people could do that for sure, and yeah, I think so because a lot of people love me or hate me, but they probably still talk to me. They might like me afterwards.
I mean, it is what it is. There's going to be people that love, there's going to be people that hate, and then there's going to be people that don't care or haven't made up their mind yet. You focus on the people that haven't made up their mind yet because the people that are never going to care, they're people that haven't cared the whole time, they're not going to start caring now if you've made a name for yourself, quote unquote, or so to say. The people that want to see you succeed or want to do some stuff, you know, even just hopping on, testing, doing what you need to do. Josh is in your corner. I'm in your corner. It's going to be people that are like, hey, man, why didn't you hit me up? Why didn't you let me know we were doing this? But they'll get a turn. Man, it's a amazing platform. If you think about what Rap Forever and what even like Prolific Radio or those platforms were able to do with internet radio
Hmm.
5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, imagine what you can do now with the setup. I mean, you could do it.
Absolutely, and this is something that I could do. I could do it every day, but I probably don't have the energy to do it every day. Maybe every other day, at least do 2 or 3 a week interviews. And I always need somebody to bounce off of. I can't just sit and ramble to the camera for an hour every day by myself. That doesn't work
Yeah,
for me because then I get my point out in like 3 minutes, and then I'm like, all right, I'm done now.
yeah. No, that's a monologue's a whole different skill. So just a shout out if you guys do check out I Will Not Lose podcast. I do have guests on. We have a couple lineups. We just had Ryan share his story of recovery last week, but most of the time it's going to be me with a thought for 20 to 30 minutes. Some call that short, some call that long, but hey, it's whatever you end up doing. Do you have I know you're not really a format guy. You just gonna hop on live and do it?
Yeah,
Three reviews a week. That's wild,
yeah,
man.
that's easy. I could be like the Valley's Joe Rogan and just like keep. I could do this shit like nothing. I just sit here and call somebody on Skype and we talk for an hour. That's that doesn't take much energy from me. I could do that easy.
Word, word. Well, big shout out to you. I'll definitely tune in and check it out. There's a couple other. You got any other local podcasts you check out? I got some I could put you on to.
Yeah, let me know. I don't know too many people that are still doing it. I know that um damn, what are the names? I can't remember their name, but I know that Nixon was doing one before. He used to do the Wake Up show, not the Wake Up show, but the Wake and Bake podcast.
Wake and bake, yeah.
They used to do that. I don't see that so much anymore. Who else was doing podcasts?
And feel free to drop in the comments. We're local. I mean, we're in 610. For those of you listening, I mean, this is going live to what, our Facebook network, or are you out
Yeah.
on
Yeah,
Twitch?
this is just going to Facebook right now because since I just created a new YouTube channel, it told me I have to wait 24 hours before I can live stream from there. So once that goes live, I'll download this and upload it onto the YouTube as a video. Um, but yeah.
I got
Who else?
it in no specific order. Empower
Oh
610.
yeah.
Nice showing.
Stefan's doing his thing right now.
Yeah, you can check them out. They drop gems. Louis D. Garcia's got the SC360 podcast. He drops every couple of weeks with like a dope interview. I listen to him on Spotify. I think he does a video podcast too. I'm pretty sure it's a video podcast as well. Um, Miguel Reyes has got Stay Fit ODAT. He talks about running and sobriety. Um, but he's been doing that for a while too.
Somebody should do one
Uh,
about running and not non sobriety, drunk running.
do what you got to do. I think they have that. They have that. They have things where you can like run to kegs, like a run or
Oh
a
my
crawl
god,
or something. I'm sure they're doing
that
that.
sounds terrible. You should definitely not podcast while doing that.
I mean, hey, it depends on who you are. Me, I can't drink a podcast. I can't drink. Period. You can do that, and it puts you in your zone. All for you, man.
Yeah,
But
I'm very Germanic and I'm very Viking like, so it's in my blood to just drink Jägermeister and beer.
oh man, we are celebrating EID here. Oh, that's something from a Discord. Just got a Discord from Pakistan. But man, this world is crazy. It's crazy how connected the world has come. You know, we're launching rockets into space. You see now, what's it called? Blew
And
up.
exploding them, yeah, because they can't go to the moon.
Oh, what's your? You got some kind of conspiracy theory? You think it was engineers are allowed to make mistakes? I mean,
um,
it's
no, I just think they faked it the first time and they can't go back and they haven't been. So if they can't do it now, when the technology is so much better now than 1960, that means they didn't go then.
okay. Okay. I mean, if one thing leads to another.
You, the computers they had back then were like the size of your entire house, and now that same computer is your phone, and they still can't go back.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure they could go back. I'm sure maybe they went, maybe they didn't. I actually personally believe, I'm not going to get into alien stuff, but I think we've left out to space many times in history. Not in our written history this time, but there's we're fucking human beings, dude. We figure the craziest stuff out. Even if I mean, the fact that we put a crazy metal object, propulsed it into space, and it blew up, they're not going to say, "Oh well, we scrapped this and this is done. This doesn't work." They're going to go in, fill out their tables, put their stuff. Some dudes way smarter than me, and they're going to figure out how to put the stuff and launch it. But I don't know. You're absolutely right. It could all be doctored video. I mean, nowadays everybody has these high definition cameras, so you think stuff could really go nuts like that?
Yeah, I think they're trying to now. I don't believe in aliens either, but yeah, I don't think they could go back, and they haven't gone back. That as far as a manned mission goes, supposedly the unmanned ones, I'm still kind of skeptical about. Um,
I have heard that. You're not the first person that's told me we haven't gone into space or believes that. So I mean, I'm definitely not shooting it down.
they keep changing all the parameters and the verbiage about everything, and now they say like the moon is within our atmosphere, and you're like, what?
That is wild. Yo, 1 second. Big shout out to I got the chat up. David Timothy Bortz. He's saying Earth used to look like Mars and Mars used to look like Earth. What's your take on that?
I don't know. There's no way of proving that, so who knows?
You're not into pontificating just for the sake of it.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I don't know. Nobody can know, but that's what they do. That's why they're called theoretical physicists, because it's just a theory. They just like dream stuff up and then they write it.
No, I mean you got like Newtonian physics and those start to break down the further you go from Earth. So, I mean, yeah, physics could be completely different at the end of our solar system, but I mean that's science in the pursuit. There's ways they measure that stuff or put it together. Now I don't know that you could prove something that happened back in time or say there's traces of stuff. I don't know what we really gain to I guess go to Mars or expand our country. That's almost like I don't know, I don't want to say it's a rich thing, but it's not something that I'm super concerned with in my life, and I don't think it would be my kids' life either. Although I think my son and daughter may start to think about that sort of thing.
Yeah, well,
Like, there's a lot of people
we're
on this.
yeah, for sure. We're exploratory beings. We like to explore and study and find new things and just be there. We've never went somewhere and like not colonize that area.
Yeah,
If there's some place to live, we're gonna live there. There's people in the remote reaches of every inch on this planet. Somebody's there, and
that's why.
then they say that we went to the moon and we came back and never went back. So
Well, I don't know what we would have to gain. That'd be, I mean, we probably got there. I mean, it's not far fetched to me that we got there. There was nothing really there. They were like, yo, we just spent the equivalent of like billions of dollars or trillions nowadays to do this. But I also do think that a lot of the space race was fueled by, I don't want to call it a political agenda. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but there was a race, a space race. There was a war. What's the word for it? Not a monetary incentive, but like uh,
I think it was just a
it's in the interest of national security to a propaganda. Maybe that's the
yeah, I
word
think it was
for it.
just a propaganda war, and everybody faked it to their own extent, just to say they did and not get shown up by the other country.
So I don't know. So all the satellites are in our atmosphere then too? Like there is no
I
space?
mean, if they say that the moon is within our atmosphere, then then, then that's what it is. Like even the space, what the space station they have up there is, they say it's just in high Earth orbit. It's still within our atmosphere, so technically they're not in space. And they say that the one female astronaut that was in there like stabbed a hole in it, and I don't, there's a whole thing. You got to look up the story about the woman that went nuts up there because she would like wanted to see her lesbian girlfriend on Earth. So she wanted to go.
So I'm sure I could just Google that, right? And I'll get what I'm looking for.
Yeah, something like that. But she
I
wanted to like come home, and they were like, "There's not going to be another like shuttle for a while." So she just like started not bathing at all, and she like stabbed a hole into the space station. So it none of it makes any sense to where you would say that's possible in space without it like crashing down to Earth or something, or
uh,
just being contaminated forever, because she would
I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna look this up. Now you got my
none
curiosity
of
piqued
none
up.
of the story
Um,
adds up to where if they were actually in space that it would make sense, because it would be contaminated for eternity.
you got me there.
Yeah, you got to look it up. The story's wild, but yeah, we don't have to talk about space and the moon though. uh,
Well, can you pull stuff up? What are your capabilities? Can you pull like can we share screen on this? Are we like in just a live Zoom call?
I'm sure I can, but I've never done it before, so I'm not gonna try now because it'll just be nuts for me looking for something.
If I go and share my screen and just say, is space fake? just
I
curious
mean,
to see what comes.
you'll get a bunch of bullshit and saying my coding is overloaded. Turning down video settings or using a faster encoding preset.
So Mark Elmore wants to know when he's doing Pinky Put.
I don't even know what that is.
In doubt, I'm just reading off the chat. Big shout out to Mark.
Elmo,
Big shout out to David.
Elmo, what is pinky putt? It sounds very homoerotic.
He's like, don't call me out on the live. You know what Pinky Putt
I
is.
don't know what pinky putt is. I've never putted with my pinkies.
That does sound wild. But
When I'm doing pinky out. Are you making fun of me because I drink with my pinky out?
oh,
I'm very,
you say you're drinking with your
I'm
pinky out.
very classy. Very classy.
I didn't even notice that. That's wild.
I have these small pinkies. Pause. What is my encoding? Custom encoder settings. I gotta figure these types of things out. When in doubt, pinky out. That's what he says. That's the
When in doubt, pinky
that's the
out.
code that I live by.
I'm real cool. I'm sipping on my Panera charged lemonade.
I'm just
So-
turn my bit rate down a little bit, see if that helps. How's the feed, Elmo? Is this smooth? Because it was saying I was overloaded.
Look super smooth on my end.
Good, good, good. So when in your lifetime did you start paying attention to like the local rap scene? It's good. Mark said it's good, good.
Well, I was in the local rap scene. I was a local rapper, and I started that in about eighth grade. And it was really around 11th, 12th grade. I had a little studio at my parents' house, and I was subbing out engineering time and studio time to a couple artists. So I would kind of keep my ear to the scene because I was looking to market. In fact, I got into graphic design as a way to kind of brand local artists. I did it as a way to brand myself, like to do my own first album cover. And that was a huge accomplishment for me at the time.
Right.
But I started, I mean, this was probably 2000, to give a time date, 2001, 2002. I was really kind of seeing what was going on, but it felt like there was more access to it really around that time you're talking about with Rap Forever. Um, that was when you were discovering new artists and people that did it local. Like you said, Facebook wasn't super huge, Snapchat, all these things. So you had to be going out to local showcases. You had to really connect with artists where they were.
Right. Where'd you went to middle school?
Middle school, I went to Our Lady Help of Christians. It's not there no more on the east side.
Oh, okay.
So I went to private school until high school. I graduated from DRF.
Oh, nice. I went to Rob.
Oh man, I'm right down the street from
Yeah,
there.
yeah, right where you're at. That Hirsch's Market is where we used to go all the time, and all my friends stole.
Wow. So quick.
Remember when they? Well, I don't know if you remember over there, but back in the day, they used to make all the kids put their book bags on the shopping carts before.
Oh, they still do.
Yeah, I'm sure now they still do. But
Now these kids are so disrespectful nowadays. Real?
I mean, not me, but my friends, yes. But before our generation, when we were growing up, like I remember a point where you didn't have to do that, and then all of a sudden you did. So, so it was definitely us as kids who made that implementation, and that's around the time when I first started paying attention to like the hip hop scene. around here too. When I was in Rob, like one of the talent shows was a rap group. I don't know who was in it, but they were part of the we used to have street gangs like 2ND and One Deuce. So I don't know if they exist anymore, but One Deuce did uh, a rap song about about their crew, and I was like, whoa, that's pretty crazy that they're doing this at the local talent show, just like rapping about our city, and I thought that was interesting, and that kind of was one of my first memories of like, this is something I could possibly do. That was like sixth grade.
That's dope. That's super dope. So then you stuck around. I've been listening to the couple of the artists that you put me on. Been bumping that Allentown track where you sampled Billy Joel.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, that was real cool. So that's been going. I played that for my wife too. Um, but lately I've been wondering how to like I'm honest, and this is not just propping. I really think that what you're doing is awesome because I don't know where to look for how can I support the local artists. I'm not connected in that Facebook group, and the way Facebook works, you can't really go searching and discovering
Right.
new stuff. So there has to be some sort of filtration. I know you're
A-
objective with stuff. Like
Absolutely.
you're not gonna just put anybody on.
Right.
So
There needs to be curation and somebody who can filter out the bullshit from the not so bullshit. And not everybody's gonna agree who's dope and who's not. And those people can they could suck things, but somebody's got to do it, and there needs to be that rallying point around something or someone, and if I could be that person to bring people together, or at least bring some form of discovery for people to come to, like, this is who I can trust, his opinion, to go check out this person or check out that person, or listen to this person's opinion on whoever they think is dope, or where they say to who to check out, you know?
I do need to put you in touch. I don't remember if I shouted out DJ Focus's podcast when I was naming local podcasts,
I
but
think you did.
he just had a New High Entertainment. If I didn't shout out to the DJ Focus podcast, they go live Thursdays at 8 p.m. I'm usually in the car, so I checked him out, and he had New High, NUHI. I think it's a local label. Um, he was playing music and videos from them as well. Now, he does mostly cultural commentary and conversation,
Right.
so it's not a music, like, you know what I mean. But he does. I have seen him at least do that in a few of the episodes that I've watched.
Right.
So I want to connect you with him for sure.
Yeah, me and DJ Focus kind of have a not like a troubled past. I don't think we ever really met, but he had an encounter with Devin Haley some years ago. So I don't think we'll be talking. Probably not.
All right.
But I know Bo. That does New High. So I'll talk to Bo. Bo's cool. Bo. He came to my place when I had an apartment years ago, and Slim brought him through, and we did a track that day. So I fuck with Bo.
Real cool. Real cool. Yeah, I just connected with him recently. I wasn't up. But if there's anybody else in the area to check out, I mean, I listen to a lot of music, man, and I give room for error too. Obviously you want it to sound good, but sometimes you can listen through a little bit of unmastered music or something and
Right.
see what's worth somebody investing in or putting something in. That's That's interesting stuff.
Yeah, I try to keep my ear to the ground as much as possible, and um, I skew on the side of letting a lot of things slide. I judge on a bias scale for local music. I just kind of look for potential and good ideas and judge from there, because I know a lot of people are just downloading beats off of YouTube, and they don't really have anybody mixing and mastering their music. So you kind of have to give them a little wiggle room as far as, would I bump this or not, or does it have potential to be bigger, or does this artist have something as far as their personality or a unique sound to expand off of. And that's what I look for as a producer when I'm looking for people to work with. Do they have that extra thing that I could tap into and maybe add my sound and blend it with theirs to make it mesh? Because the artists out here aren't really fully formed. They're half baked.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, that's, I agree with you. That's kind of what I was going for with, it's not going to sound perfect, but at the same time, you're not going to wrap into some AirPods, or you know what I mean, not, like the wireless. People go with the little wireless mic and they're rapping into it over a phone playing in the background, and you're going to mix that and try to put it out to stream. It's like
Right.
you have at least access to something, you know.
Right. Yeah, they, like I said in my one of my posts earlier, is artists really need to tap in with local producers. I know a bunch of them. They're probably willing to work in some capacity with artists, and they could get things done. And it's not going to be as fast or as easy as just downloading the beats you like off of YouTube, but it's worth it in the long run to make that connection with somebody who believes in you as an artist and can form a sound around you instead of just sounding like a million other people on the internet.
Yeah, I think you could curate that, artist working with producers. I'm actually going to be buying some beats pretty soon, if they're for sale, because it's a matter of like supporting content creators. If your thing is, okay, I just want to make a beat and I just want to make 400, $500,
Right.
I just want to sell the beat and go from there. There are producers that have a whole, you could chop those beats all day,
Yeah.
just go from there. But I hear what you're saying. If the producer says, okay, I can see some stuff, I want to work with this, or this person has that natural stuff, but maybe they could just work on their mic technique or do some things like that, I'd be willing to show belief, because I think time is the ultimate stuff. Like, you could always make more money, but where you're choosing to spend your time,
Right.
it's like, you know, that could really waste a lot.
Absolutely. That's what I've always done too, because I've never really cared about selling beats really. I don't even know what to sell my beats for when people come to me and ask me, can they buy one? I'm like, I don't know. It's either like $1 million or free. Like, I don't
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't have like a middle ground on it. It's like, if I have the time and energy plus the belief in you, then yes, then it's whatever. But if not, I already am committed to these other artists who take up my time and energy, and it's hard for me to spread myself so thin. And sometimes I do, and that's when people get angry at me, because I can't get to everybody with the same amount of dedication. So that's why I've limited myself in the past years to just doing like Slim and Devin, and then even my stuff has taken a back seat to them because I'm not gonna go as hard. I don't like doing shows. I don't necessarily even like being a public person, but I do it because I can. People enjoy my takes and personality, but if I could be the person behind the scenes and still have the same sort of impact, then I would, but I can't because there is no other me.
There is no other you.
No.
That's dope, man. That's dope. Air horns for that. No, man. Well said. Well said. Um, it's tough when it's free or $1 million. You definitely open yourself up, and that's something you have to learn. Like you can't help everybody.
Yeah.
Like, but I know I've done that. I do commercial art, commercial. I haven't. None of my music I sold, and I haven't produced in 10, 15 years, so I don't even hold that title anymore. I haven't actually produced in 20, haven't rapped in 10, but I forgot where I was going with
I
that.
don't know, but it's crazy to think that 2013 was 10 years ago. That's just
Yeah,
nuts to just think about. It's like in 2013, like the style was, I guess the Migos were just coming into play, and then it was like Ace Hood, um, still
yeah.
like T
So,
Pain, Auto Tune was really taking off.
oh
Future,
wait, yeah, you're talking about 2013. Yeah, absolutely. And there was some experimental stuff. I think you had Skrillex was really big then.
yeah, um,
Dub,
the trap dubstep
yeah.
was really taking off then too. And it's so nuts the timeline because it went so fast, like 2013, 14, 15, and then there was a real lull. I forget what year it was. It might have been, what the fuck was it? I don't know. 14, where basically almost nothing happened. And I was like, damn, this year sucked for music. But after that, it was like 15, 16, and politics and the Trump era really took precedent over any sort of conversation besides, instead of music, I mean.
But you had some great music coming out in 2016 though.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of good
Wasn't
stuff came out.
that like Pimp a Butterfly, Astro World came out around then? Uh, I'm trying to think. I just remember I was happy. I mean, I was listening to a lot of different stuff, and I was listening to like Noah Cyrus. Like I was really all over the place musically in 2016. But I'm trying to think what else came out iconically. That's when I started trying to tap a little bit into the younger music.
Right,
You know, when you start to hit that age where you're like the stuff that I heard in high school, music peaked then, and everybody goes through that, you know. Older people don't usually listen to younger music,
for
but
sure.
I started to try to tap into see what was going on there. And a lot of those artists that we thought were going to be one-hit wonders are still putting out music, still rocking.
Yeah, that um didn't happen to me actually because I was so into music, and um around that time, like 2012, Two Chains started to come out. And when I looked into how old Two Chains was at the time he really started to pop off, he was 36, and I'm 36 now. And he had a good solid run even still up to a couple years ago. He
Yeah.
became more so of like a cultural icon. Um, but through my 20s was still like not, kind of almost like a second, not childhood, but adolescent teenagerhood as far as my musical influence continued through my 20s up until what year was 6 years ago? 2017. I turned 30. So through my whole 20s, I was really in it as far as listening to all the younger people, because still our whole age range and generation is Drake, is Kendrick and Cole. We're all the same age. So it I just felt a sort of connection to this generation, and even the the next generation who were a little bit younger than us, like ASAP Rocky, and who else was coming up, like on the tail end, Travis Scott, and all them were still.
I hate to throw Uzi Vert in there, but that's like around when you had it was almost like fashion and hip hop. There was a lot of talk about. I mean, hip hop and fashion have always gone hand in hand, but it didn't look different.
Right.
Like Uzi style, even Travis Scott, ASAP Rocky being all crazy into fashion. Like it's just it had a conversation pointed at something that I wasn't as into. Like
Yeah. And I think the youngest one, like where I started to tap out at, was I didn't start listening to like Tyler until like a couple years ago. I just didn't really care too much about him until I really started to listen to his projects, and I was like, he's like actually like a really dope producer, and cares about his projects. But then I really started to tap out probably around when Lil Baby started to come out. I was like, nah, this it's changing in a direction I'm not enjoying.
that was only a few years ago, right?
Yeah,
Or that was probably like right before Corona.
yeah,
Because I feel like you could take 2020 and to maybe like 2021 and a half, and yeah, there was music coming out, but you could tell it was on the tail end of stuff that people had previously recorded. Like there was no touring. The music industry really did come to like a grinding halt, and you still have people putting stuff out with streaming, but there was no like real. Why would you drop an album when you can't tour on it? Like a serious album, like. And I don't know. Somebody could drop in the comments. They might know better than me, but I don't think anything.
yeah.
It seemed like the world was shut down.
And the progression of the sound of each decade kind of stopped.
Yeah,
We were just in
yeah.
this area where it was like, what the fuck? What is this? What is happening? And I don't know. I don't know if it's that, or if it just degraded so slowly till it reached the tipping point of what that was, and now we're on the other side of that point, because people were complaining about the new generation for the entire last 10 years. Like every double XL freshman list, everybody was like, who are these people? And they're not actually rapping.
Well, let me ask you this: did you get into XXX at all, Tentacion?
At first, no. At first I was like, what the fuck is this? Like he got on by claiming that Drake took his style or his song or a bar or something like that. And I went back and listened to what he was saying, and then I listened to the song, and I was like, this song sounds like shit and nothing like what Drake did. So
Uh,
I don't know. I guess they had a conversation or something, but I didn't really understand his appeal until he put out before, right, I think like right before he got killed, he put out a project with I forget what it was called, but it had all these really short songs. And when he put that out, I seen the vision. Then I was like, oh no, he's on to something. Then and then he got killed, and I was like, ah, fuck, that sucks.
Yeah, I've heard a couple things I like, but I really didn't dig deep, and I just didn't know if his body of work. It's something I'm gonna check out. It's just his name's got been brought up too many times for me to not at least give it a
Yeah,
chance.
the
But
stuff that he put out, not he didn't put it out then, but the stuff that got put out, like posthumously from him, like the song with him and Kanye is insane, and I think some of my favorites are Moonlight and damn, there's a couple others, but he has a couple like really good songs that I just recently got into by going back through his catalog, and I was like, nah, he was on to something.
ah man, well rest in peace. Check it out. I really respect the craft of putting together music, putting together projects. You said something that really stuck with me when you came over to the pod. You were talking about you like to listen to bodies of work, like
Right.
albums, and that's just so much more masterful than putting together like a freestyle. And there's nothing wrong with putting together a quick freestyle,
Right.
but pulling the whole album together, and then it made sense to me why you have that project that was made over such a long period of time,
Mm-hmm.
and to you represents different periods in your growth or your style, your musical influence. So, like, is there a statute of limitations on making an album? Is
No,
there
no,
like,
I don't think so, especially anymore. It's like all the rules are thrown out now, but I mean, there there's a statute if your goal is to get popular, then yeah, you got to put shit out like now, all the time.
time? Yeah, I see people doing like little freestyle reels every day. I'm like, oh man, I guess that's what it takes.
It all
But
depends on what type of artist you are, because those type of artists are for exactly what they do. And are you gonna want to listen to one of their albums? No. Are they are they gonna stand the test of time 5 years from now? Probably not. So I don't know. You just have to get into whoever you identify with as an artist, and I seen something like a quote from Pharrell. I think said that like you can't build a fan base. Your fan base find just they build you, or something like that. It was like you can't build your fan base. They choose you. So
I got Well, I think you know what this hit me the other day too. I was thinking it might have been today. People get caught up trying to be people's favorite artists. Like they're not satisfied with just being in the playlist.
right.
You know what I mean? Like you gotta take. There's so much attention. There's so much music, and you can't listen to one artist over and over and over, and that's your only artist. You might have a favorite artist because they connect with you specifically, but of all the music you listen to, so when people are like, I want you to share everything I do, I want you to listen to absolutely everything I put out. I mean, yeah, that's what you want to look for in the loyal fan base, but you also got to be happy for those people that are just checking for you, that are like, okay, I'm going to buy the album. Or I don't know if people buy albums anymore.
No, not really.
I don't know. I actually haven't, yeah, I haven't bought an album in a while, but if there's a project that comes out that I like, I will look to see if they have merch or something available
Yeah,
or
you gotta.
something to support the
Yeah,
artist.
you gotta. You definitely have to give added value now. Your music is very secondary to other endeavors you might have, and now those types of things like I've been doing for I don't 10 years now, podcasting, just other content, and formulating an entire I don't know what to call it. You just have to create an entire world around you that people can buy into because they want to buy into the person. And like I said, it depends on the type of artist you are, but you have to find your niche as an artist and then go hard at that niche for people to buy into you. And that's the only way they're really going to tap into your music.
That's awesome, man. That's well said. I need to learn some things about personal branding. I was uh I was thinking earlier today. So I'm up late last night. I see Craig Freebolin just finished a 4.5 week shoot. I don't know if you know him, Ubi Fire Productions.
Mm-mm.
Put together. I mean, they're building dolly racks. They've got huge. They're shooting on a sailboat in daylight with huge softening lights. I mean, this was a whole 4 week shoot, sets and everything. And he just had a chance to post some behind the scenes. And I'm at like 12 p.m. last night on a Thursday night, and I'm like, yo, I gotta get up and edit. I'm inspired right now. Like I want to do it. This grind is so fun. I'm so glad that I'm a creator, that I'm an editor. And I just thought, yo, am I being selfish by not posting like anything I do? I mean, most people, I'm not necessarily looking for more clients, but that's selfish because there's some content creator or somebody who might just be inspired based off like, yo, that's pretty cool.
Right.
Even just pictures like you should have seen the studio I was in earlier, man. They had their sound dampening was orange and white, so it was all like fluorescent, real light. It was freaking dope. They had the microphones, everything, all the lighting, like a newsroom, completely set up.
Right.
But, people would love to see that sort of thing on a reel. I just go and do what people would normally think is cool shit, and I don't even post it or say that I'm doing it. I just be in my own lane. Is that a disservice, or
I mean,
maybe no one
it,
cares?
it, it could be it, like I said, it all depends on the type of artist or creator you are, and I think that type of stuff is more so your lane to do because you like all the specifics of the process and the things that surround them and creating all the like the mini content and what to build off of that. And like you said, you get excited about all that stuff. You've seen the guy do the whole behind the scenes, and now you're thinking, I have all this other stuff I could be showing people and helping people with that as I'm doing it.
Maybe, or maybe nobody gives a shit. Who
No,
knows?
but you could. All you got to do is do it and see if it works. And if you like it, you keep doing it. And if you don't, you cut it off.
Yeah, that
That's
works.
what I've always done. Like I enjoy doing podcasts, and I don't really care if nobody watches it. It's just like it's just whatever. That's what I've
Yeah.
always done. I started rapping. I didn't care if anybody listened to it. I started making beats. I didn't care if anybody liked my beats. I started shooting videos out of necessity, and I didn't care if anybody liked my videos. I just care if I enjoy the process. And when I stop enjoying the process, I stop doing it, and I pick up on something else that I like doing. And then you might not ever hear a rap from me again whenever I stop enjoying it.
Oh man. Hey, that's what you got to do. I had this. Makes me wonder. Like, does the mercenary fight for coin, or do they just fight for the love of fighting?
No, they definitely
Like,
fight for the love of fighting, and that's part of my story too because where my family came from in Germany, we were contracted as mercenaries, and we actually came to Allentown as mercenaries.
oh
There's
shit.
a memorial on Fourth Street for the German mercenaries who came here to fight, and they just stayed because they liked it. Yeah,
Oh man,
it's pretty crazy.
that's wild history. I did see you post some stuff about that. I really respect you for going back and looking at family stuff and figuring out what had happened. It's not that I don't care. I just wouldn't even know. I
Right.
asked my mom, and she's like, Slave Virginia, something like that. I'm like, oh man. I mean, I could probably take an ancestry and paint a picture and go on some sort of thing, but just haven't done it yet.
Yeah, that's a whole other podcast. But for sure, I advocate for everybody to look into their family histories, no matter how dark or sad or if you find nothing. But it's always best that whatever you find, you will enjoy because it's your story.
Yeah, that's wild, man. I'm gonna have to. You always give me homework, man. You tell me, I'm always like, oh, now I gotta go and check this out and do this. But it's been a whole like up and down between the podcasting, creating. I was bugging out that night
Good.
over something stupid because the cameras went
Nah,
off.
it's all good.
I was like, oh man, no. But then, like you said, it's like, who's even gonna listen to us anyway?
Who knows?
Well, shout out to whoever's listening to us.
Absolutely.
We got someone listening, and I'm sure people will see the replay, but they want to get an idea of what you got going on. You definitely have deep musical knowledge. There's I hope that people don't just look at it as a like I don't want to say free promotion. It is free promotion, but you got to add something to the conversation. Like, I don't want to hear you come on and just talk about unless that's if you're going to be playing music, you're going to be playing music and music videos, or just going to like when you say interview artists, what's the game
I'm
plan?
just gonna be doing what we just do right now. That's about it. I'm just gonna.
Just talking about aliens
Yeah,
and
we'll go. I
I,
I've certain things I like to talk about, especially with artists and people who've been around for a while. So we'll talk about the history of of the valley and the hip hop scene, and people have different stories to tell within that. And I think that's something that if even if nobody cares, it's something that needs to be documented. And because there's so many stories that don't get told, and if they don't get told, then they get lost forever. Then there's nobody to tell those stories, and then nobody will ever know. And there's not anybody doing that right now. So there's no place for the younger artists to come to or go back to or even try to find out what happened before them unless they have like an OG to go to and talk to, and they just tell them their stories of their glory days. So I think there needs to be a place where those stories could live. So I want to do that, and then I'll go off on tangents, and we'll go off on tangents about people's thoughts. So aside from that, that's gonna happen.
that's great, man. You're gonna be the Valley's Joe Rogan.
Well, yeah, we'll see.
I like that you keep it to the Valley, though. A lot of people that go, and I'm guilty of it too. I look at international numbers, and I get super excited, and it's like I think, and he keeps coming up. Jack Nine's the number one person who's always shouting. You got to go local to global. You got to go local to
Right.
global.
I love other places. I love
That's
other places too, but you always got to bring it back somehow because I'm gonna bring on people from outside the area too, and they have their own stories, and I love their stories also. But we always got to bring it back. I might just have like some of my friends on, and we just talk shit. Like that's just what we're gonna do. So it's gonna be an array of guests.
I'm excited for it, man. And what's it called again? What is this? It's just a phase,
It's
or
just a phase because all my other podcasts I always had a co-host, and now I kind of do still do, but it's just gonna be someone different every time. So now it's just me. It's just a phase.
I think you'd have a serious market for your tangents or monologues.
Yeah, maybe we'll I mean, I'm just gonna keep doing it, and if that comes along, that's what'll happen. It's gonna be organic as can be.
You know what? I'll tell you my secret. I'll tell you the secret sauce. Everybody listen in hit now. In all seriousness, I take notes down during the week of stuff that I would probably want to post, and I just don't post it. And I go back to my notes throughout the week, and that's pretty much the podcast. It's like anything that I want to put out there that I want to be like, okay, I mean, I can put out little positive posts, and I'm not all super for like, I don't want to say offending people because I'm sure stuff I put out offends somebody, but I'm not looking to rile anybody up or get engagement through that. I don't really care too much about social media numbers, and that's really the way that you do it.
Right.
But if you go and you just take, I mean, even just you were bugging out yesterday on 420,
Yeah.
I was cracking, I was cracking up. I was cracking up. You do a podcast on that, but I don't know. Maybe if short form posts and content and that's your thing, do that.
I'm
I don't say
I'm
post.
very pro offense, and I like offending people, and it just really it makes me laugh. So then I post it, and I'm like you said, I'm the complete opposite. I've never write anything down like, oh, I'm gonna post this later. It's just like I have a little stupid thought, and I put it out, and and that's it. Or else if I think about it too long, I hate it then, and then I'll never put it out. Just like I don't know. I have that um what do they call it? I forget the word. When you wait, analysis paralysis.
Analysis paralysis. Okay. I
Like
was going to say like the opposite of perfectionism or
yeah,
something.
if you wait too long and you ruminate on things and think about it for too long, or what you're gonna say or how you're gonna word it, or who's gonna think whatever they think about it, then you just get to a point where you just don't do it. So you just throw it out there. People get mad, and then uh, you just roll with it. And one of the things that I've tried to do is to never take anything that those people, the way people respond to whatever you say, just continue to not be serious about it. Because once you take offense to somebody's comeback is when you lose.
The art of pissing people off, ladies and
Yeah, just
gentlemen.
keep on making it even more silly. And that's what's cool about like I like posting stuff. Like I don't like to just like make um a video rant of like jokes or anything like that, or make my podcast just like strictly comedy or something like that. But that's kind of what we did with What the Fuck Are We Talking About. But we would just talk random shit and come up with funny stuff. But as far as like clowning on people or having like written jokes or anything, I really like the text format of social media, because I can formulate a strategy and a long term, like it's more so long term comedy. Because if you go back to like you say yesterday and you see my posts throughout the day and how they build on one another, and then the same person will continue to be getting offended about the same subject, and then you just keep doubling down on their shit and keep making it even sillier, to where somebody is saying like, yo, this is not even funny, and then I go, are you high right now? And then there's like 20 people laughing at that, and it's like, and eventually other people look back at it, and I don't know. It just a build up. Yeah, I like the build up. It's fun.
See, I just live in the comments. I'm sarcastic as hell in the comments. I'll scroll there and comment on other people's stuff, but honestly I don't spend a ton of time with it. But I do feel better now that I'm back on social because I just feel it's weird. Like I ran into somebody who saw something that I posted in real life, and it was like we continued a conversation. I haven't seen this person since I don't know. Shout out to Corey Braun. I don't know if I've seen you on and off since high school, but for the most part, you know, you just keep in touch with people. I feel like you're gonna interact with and you're gonna see who you're meant to see. Whether that's like in person, you stop somewhere, or they show up in your algorithm or your feed or something, because there's a lot of people. Like when you post something, there's a lot of people that see it. There's a lot of people that scroll, don't engage, don't click like, don't do nothing, don't comment, but they see it.
For sure. Absolutely, man. But we'll wrap this up. We've been going an hour and plus, so we'll do another one in the future.
Yeah, let me know if you ever need to test the equipment. I'm Tony Ortiz with I Will Not Lose podcast. Tune in Mondays at night. Follow on at To the Designer on all social platforms, TikTok, Instagram, all that stuff. I'm on at To the Designer. So thank you, Phase, for having me, man.
No doubt.
Kicking off the official launch of It's Just a Phase.
Absolutely. Thanks for coming on. Let me work out my shit. We'll do another one in the near future.
All right, thank you,
All right,
brother.
bro.
Peace.